Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series going through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what is the tacking paradox. Now, the tacking paradox, sometimes called the irrelevant conjunction paradox or the paradox of isolated statements, is a paradox for doctrines of confirmation of scientific theories. Specifically, it's the challenge that irrelevant statements can be tacked onto a hypothesis that appears to predict some evidence, so that that evidence that it predicted confirms not just the core hypothesis, but is also considered evidence for the tacked-on statement as well, even when the statement is wholly irrelevant to the underlying core hypothesis. So, imagine that you have some hypothesis that you are testing. Say, all bankers at this branch wear ties every Monday. And so this hypothesis would predict that if you sat outside the branch, you would see everyone walking into the bank having a tie on, or at least all the employees. You sit outside the branch all Monday and see that, lo and behold, everyone that walks in does have a tie on. It seems like evidence confirming your hypothesis. Note that this is an inductive argument. It provides evidence for a claim, but it doesn't prove it to be true in the way a deductive argument would. What if the bank changed its policy for next Monday? Check out our video on the problem of induction for more on that. Your hypothesis, say B, all bankers at this branch wear ties on Monday, was confirmed, though not proven, by your evidence T. This Monday, everyone at this branch wore ties, because T reinforces part of the claim. Out of all the Mondays, for at least this one, it is right. In theory, if you could check all of the Mondays, you might be able to prove it true, but the more Mondays you check, the more evidence you have for that claim. Now, then imagine you tack on another claim to your hypothesis. Say, all bankers at this branch wear ties every Monday and God exists. Call that BG instead. Under most theories, this hypothesis is also confirmed by evidence T because it reinforces part of the claim. However, few would claim that watching people go in and out of the bank provides you evidence for the existence of God. A way to understand why our evidence provides, or what by the evidence we gathered provides support for this full hypothesis, imagine that instead our hypothesis was all bankers at this branch wear ties every Monday and Tuesday. Now, let's say you went to the bank and you, every single Monday for a whole month, maybe for a whole year, let's say, and you watched all the people going in and out, everyone's wearing ties for all the Mondays, but you didn't check any of the Tuesdays. It seems like that evidence does confirm the claim that bankers wear ties every Monday and Tuesday. You didn't gain any evidence for the Tuesdays, but you also didn't gain any evidence for next year or the previous year. And so, once again, because we're not proving it, we're just providing evidence. We're providing evidence for a piece of the claim, and so that's enough to provide evidence for that whole hypothesis. But the problem is, few would claim that watching people going in and out of the bank provides you any evidence for the existence of God. This is a paradox for classical models of the scientific method, such as the hypothetico-deductive model that argues that a hypothesis is confirmed if it accurately predicts an observable phenomenon, and is disconfirmed if it doesn't. The challenge is that there are infinitely many hypotheses that are confirmed by any given observation, including those with irrelevant claims tacked onto them. The claim that all bankers at this branch wear ties on Monday and it's going to rain tomorrow is confirmed by the fact that all the bankers in the branch wore ties today, and the claim that it's not going to rain tomorrow and all bankers at the branch wear ties on Mondays is confirmed by that evidence as well. And so anything you throw on there is going to be confirmed by that initial piece of evidence. And it's really hard to distinguish between, well, we only checked one Monday, and so we're not checking multiple Mondays. And so it's only a piece of the evidence. We didn't check Tuesdays, but it seems like checking Monday might go into the process of confirming that. But it doesn't seem like things like it's raining or God exists really fall into that category, but they're not checked in the same way that tomorrow isn't checked, the Tuesday isn't checked, the next Monday isn't checked, and so on. And so what are we really confirming here? The challenge is there are infinitely many hypotheses that are confirmed by any observation, including those with irrelevant claims tacked onto them. This also poses issues for a range of other theories of the scientific method. Hempel's theory of confirmation, as well as Bayesian accounts of the scientific method. Check out our series on Bayesian epistemology for more. Some philosophers, such as Rudolf Carnap, tried to get around this issue by claiming that evidence only confirms the parts of a theory that make some meaningful positive contribution to the empirical predictions of that theory. The challenge here is drawing a line between when a statement is making a positive contribution. Maybe you think that God created a well-ordered universe and all bankers wearing ties on Monday is part of that plan and ordering. Is it irrelevant now? Are bankers wearing ties now evidence of God's existence? There's also the problem in the other direction. It seems that, well, maybe Tuesdays have a completely different policy than Mondays, and so we might say that the part talking about Mondays and Tuesdays seems completely irrelevant. But then, what about the statement, bankers wear ties at this branch every day of the week? It seems like checking a single Monday provides evidence of that. But that bankers wear ties every day of the week seems to be just a broader statement even than bankers wear ties on Mondays and Tuesdays, even though we didn't check Tuesdays at all, because if we're just checking Monday to test the whole week, we're still checking that piece. So all of this seems to be very hard to delineate exactly where something is going to be making a meaningful positive contribution to the empirical proof of something. Now, this is especially challenging when you think about how many scientific theories are underpinned by existing paradigms, which include many different claims that might seem irrelevant at first. Evidence for a specific claim about one planet's impact on gravitational forces may also be evidence for many underlying theories about gravity, dark matter, forces, etc. While a belief in God might not be part of a specific theory, it may be part of your background paradigm, and it may have an impact on whether a given piece of evidence confirms or disconfirms a theory, because simply an piece of evidence and a theory can't necessarily lead to its disconfirmation. Rather, you have to have all of this set of background beliefs to arrive at that contradiction. To understand a little bit more about this, check out our series on the problem of underdetermination, and specifically our video on what is paradigm shift with Thomas Kuhn for more. What do you think? How would you exclude irrelevant tacked-on propositions from legitimate extensions and supplementary propositions to a theory? What's importantly different about adding bankers wear ties every day of the week and adding bankers wear ties on Monday and God exists? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.